As a Knocked Prone listener, you know I value interesting boss mechanics and fun encounters. Wouldn't you love to have pre-written encounters that are sure to entice your entire D&D table time and time again? Well, introducing drop-in boss battles and encounters. With 20 unique boss fights and encounters for levels 1 through 20, all packaged into this 144-page book, with unique stat blocks, mechanics, maps, and item rewards designed to reduce your prep time and amp up the excitement at your table. Each battle features interactable terrain, multiple phases, objectives, and special rules that'll make your encounters unforgettable. You can easily drop these battles into any campaign, one-shot, or session with hook suggestions. The battles come with specially designed maps for your virtual tabletop, making it a breeze to integrate into your game. The drop-in boss battles and encounters are explained thoroughly, ensuring your dungeon master can seamlessly convey them to your party in character. Find the link to drop-in boss battles and encounters in our episode description. Dead Season is a mysterious podcast for D&D nerds, hosted by Knocked Prone.
Find more ways to support our show in the episode description.
In a realm beyond the living, a group of spiritual souls, sleuthing through death's mystery, fate decided by dice rolls. Like when a knocked on your beating heart, and now your souls can't depart. Dead season is nigh, cries the smoking gun in the doors. Talroth, Zelbrath Wilderton, Knocked Prone!
You are all in this goblin encampment. You've all entered through this portal, and you've watched Talroth through this portal as you see him approach a raven perched on a post that then flies away and drops a piece of parchment that Talroth then reads. What would you all like to do?
Javi will kind of cover his mouth and speak just to Finn and say, "No matter how many critters we pick up, you will always be the cutest. Forget the bird."
And Finn's gonna take...
Tasha's hideous laughter.
That would be a great spell.
That would be a great spell. Javi's hideous
I considered
laughter.
taking Fey Touch just so I could get it.
That would be good.
Javi's hideous laughter.
Seeing Talroth go through the portal, I suppose we should follow him.
We know these things don't always last very long. They're not always open forever, so we gotta hurry. I don't want to get split up.
Yes, let's continue. And I'll look over to Shrubbery. Sorry, you'll probably see me talking to myself a lot. I'm not. There's actual other spirits here, but...
I hear the voices too. Zell, go ahead and make me a history check with advantage, actually.
Ooh.
I'm rolling
Hot roller
good right
tonight.
now.
You've been rolling hot all season.
Yeah.
Danny
Yeah.
has been
It's been
consistent.
funny 'cause,
well,
like-
random nat ones, but overall,
It was nat one every time when I had advantage. Like, nat one, something good. Nat one, something good. Okay, 17.
With a 17, you recall when you touched this ichorous substance, voices whispering in your head over and over again, and not leaving until Javi was able to put the ichor substance into his bag of holding.
And there is Ichor covering Shrubby.
There's no ichor on Shrubby, however, Shrubby has been affected by the ichor, and he is still on the same plane of existence as the ichor.
Noted. I don't know what to do with it yet. I feel like there's something, though, to do with it, but I'll think about it.
we're following him in.
So
Yep.
you all follow in, the portal closes behind you, and you are amongst this lively goblin encampment, and you are watching over Talroth as he is peering over this note. Talroth, as you're reading the note, you remember that it says, "Don't ring the bell," and it's written in your own handwriting, and it is covered in bird footmarks.
Nobody cares about penmanship anymore.
I'll fold it up and just... Is there a bell around?
Yes, roll me a history check as you think about this spell.
3.
With a 3, you're unable to discern
Fair.
what this might mean.
Yeah.
Thus, our mystery podcast dives deeper into into mystery. Yes. You are also confused.
I will. But you said that the bird disappeared into a different memory portal, correct?
Yes.
Could I attempt to get a glimpse of what that portal looked like? Because you said that they have different shapes,
Yes.
they have different characteristics. Is that information I'd be able to try to get?
Yeah, go ahead and roll me Arcana check.
12.
With a 12, you noticed the shape of it was kind of hard to distinguish. However, you were able to peer and see a very familiar sight of Soul Meadow on the other side of this.
I'll peer in the direction of the bird, watch it disappear, and roll up the scroll and turn to the others. Do not go ringing any bells, please, and tuck it away. I recognize this place from when I was a child. This is strange. The portals have never opened up for my memories before.
The Reapers can become children? You were a child?
I was once living as were you. This is a goblin encampment I discovered when I was a teen. Odd. I'll look around.
Talroth, I don't think I really put together that maybe you have unfinished business in your memories. Because in my mind, your job is part of the astral plane. You're helping other people. Do you have unfinished business?
As far as I am aware, a Reaper's business is to escort souls until a certain number has been reached. Upon such, they are granted their passage into the Queen's afterlife. Zell here happens to be my final one, which is why it is imperative that you reach your destination.
Well, perhaps, since I am your final one, you also will now need to finish all your business just as all the souls you have shepherded. But fear not, for I shall be here to accompany you as you finish this business.
Thank you, Zell, for the thoughtfulness.
You have my shield!
I am noticing something so funny. You guys are going to love this. He's your last soul. We're taking the longest way possible to get him where he needs to go. Do you know that?
Oh, I have...
What are we doing?
I do not know. Now that you understand my situation, I hope you all will be more forgiving if I prioritize Zell's needs above your own.
Oh, don't worry about us. Me and Javi, we do our best to be low maintenance, right? We're all good.
We are extremely capable.
Very capable. I have very limited knowledge on the afterlife, but my understanding was that portals only open when the astral plane wants you to be there, to a degree. I guess I just want to know what we can do to help you while we're here.
That is an excellent question. The Raven Queen often teaches that we must not have attachments. Your children, your festivities, your rituals and cooking. Attachments to the mortal plane. My village did not have such attachments. I always assumed this type of journey would be unnecessary for myself. At this point, I'm as lost as all of you.
Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Chai, Javi, I would like to look around with shrubbery.
19.
With a 19, the faint tinkling of a bell can be heard in the back of your brain. However, you are able to stave off any damage that would have been accrued. The tinkling of this bell seems to be coming from Zelbrath's bag.
Zel, what are you currently holding?
Well, of course, I've got my armor, my martial weapon and shield, a light crossbow with 20 bolts, an explorer pack, which comes with many things, including that 50-foot rope.
What
That-
do you have that rings? There is
I
a
did-
sound.
Find a bell. But there is no drum. It should not be ringing.
May I see this bell?
But of course, open up my bag.
You find the bell that has no hammer inside. Talroth, you recall your mentor as he was telling you of this final soul you had to guide, of a bell that would make itself apparent to you when the soul was close to the end of its journey in the afterlife. This seems to be your 1,000th soul's bell that you were told of.
This is odd. I hadn't expected to reach this point quite so quickly. Zel, are you feeling any different?
I mean, I'm feeling quite refreshed after that rest. So yes, I mean, feel anew.
I think that we should keep that bell at hand. I wouldn't want it getting lost.
Do you wish to hold it yourself?
I think not.
I shall keep it. Front pocket, easy access.
Is it still ringing?
As you succeeded this wisdom save, and as Zelbrath pulled the bell out, the ringing silenced as soon as you saw the glint of this brass of the bell.
Can I look around? What seems to be happening in the memory itself?
Everyone go ahead and make me an investigation check.
9.
9? Absolutely.
12.
Dirty one.
Dirty 1. All right.
Dude. this
Nothing's
is
in the
going.
memory.
I'm distracted
It is
by
blank.
shrubbery.
17!
With a 17, Talroth with a 12. You are going to notice the more apparent of the two clues. You notice a sticky, translucent residue on the ground near a group of animals inside this encampment of goblins. Inside these makeshift cages are frightened woodland creatures, including a distressed deer and a terrified rabbit. The residue substance emits an unsettling odor reminiscent of the Ichor horror. Chai and Talroth, go ahead and make me a medicine or forensics check. Forensics is Constitution plus your medicine.
So it's either a medicine check or a medicine check plus Constitution. Since my Constitution is negative, I think I'm just going to take the medicine check.
Good thing you had a choice. So that's a nat 20, but if we do the math, it's 29.
Dude, Chai,
New Brooke.
new
dude.
dice.
You
Dude.
guys who dis?
Wait, show your dice.
number,
Give your
who
dice the
dis,
love
dude?
that you need.
Ready.
They are very
They are
pretty.
very pretty. They've got the flower inclusions, which I think is so fun with your like flowery magic, as
Yeah,
Javi
your
calls
colorful
it. Well, with a nat 20,
21, but that's not
well,
gonna...
with a nat 20,
Overshadowed.
it's going to get overshadowed. So both of you are going to notice that these animals are covered in the same small incisions that Lady Pinkerton was covered in the very first memory. Chai, with a natural 20, you don't know what the essence of a soul is, but whatever the essence of a soul is, these animals do not have.
So I don't know if this has been brought up yet. I can't remember, but Chai doesn't see a big difference between plants, animals, humanoids, monstrous races. Like they all blend together for her. To her, like they're all living organisms. She just doesn't see them as separate as maybe a lot of beings do. So first instinct is to immediately have a conversation. She understands they can't speak back, but she can converse in some ways with plants and animals. But she will uncharacteristically hesitate, realizing that there seems to be lacking that essence of a soul. I'm going to kneel down near them. Do they seem aggressive? Are they docile? Like, what's...
Roll me an animal handling check.
Unnatural 20.
With a dirty 20, these animals seem not aggressive. They seem terrified, mortified, traumatized.
What happened to you? Oh my goodness. I can't even believe y'all are still moving around. You seem like you're on the brink of... I don't know if it's death, but clearly you are unwell. Ugh.
The deer looks at you.
I'm gonna reach my hand out and touch it and try to cast Healing Word on the deer in front of me.
Yeah, go ahead and roll how much healing you want to do with Healing Word.
I'm just gonna cast it at first level, kind of to test out its usefulness. 6 points of healing.
6 points of healing. Describe to me what this magic looks like.
Since we are outside in an encampment, I assume there's lots of dust and dirt around, so I feel like that's going to be the main thing that kind of rises up from the ground and swirls around me, kind of swirls around the deer, kind of shows like a force towards the deer for a moment as I'm casting Healing Word.
As this nature swirls around you, the magic goes through your hand, and a barrier presents itself between you and this soul memory. This spell fizzles in your hand, and you are unable to cast this spell on this animal.
I'm going to stand up, like, in frustration, kind of, like, breathing heavy and clearly flustered. Something is not right. And I assume it's the monster. Something else came through here and did this. And these creatures are unwell. They are not okay. They look like the being that was murdered the very first day we got together. They look just like that, but somehow they are still moving. They're still alive or whatever.
But the monster attacked them?
It seems like it. They've got little cuts all over their body. They've got signs that the Ichor's been on them. They're completely lacking of warmth and life. Something is not okay here.
The same thing happened with every interaction with the creature. We as spirits, when we interact with it, we are nothing but spirit. So when it consumes that spirit, we die. In other creatures living in these memories, it drains them. Did I sense, similarly to her with the 21, the same type of
Yes.
like lack of soul and
Roll me an intuition.
insight plus charisma? 16.
With a 16, how is this animal seeing you? You're in a soul memory. Why is Shrubby not able to see you, but this animal is?
If the creature is feeding on the spiritual essence of other beings around it, when it interacts with them, it might be pulling them into the spirit realm. We saw something similar happen with Shrubby, and now something more intensely with these animals. At the very least, they were drained of their spiritual energy after coming into contact with the Ichor. To me, that's a connection.
Give me a moment. I'm going to walk up. Can the animal see me?
Roll me an animal handling check.
11. So I try to like walk in front of it and like move my hand.
The deer, as you approach the cage, looks absolutely terrified of you, and again looks at Chai and goes, "Oh, my heart."
Well, as I said before, I think you should focus on your memory and you should assist him, but I would like to go with Shrubbery. We won't go far, but to look for Moosey-Moose.
Yes.
Shrubbery, will you...
Shrubby is frantically looking around the memory, and as Chai, the other thing that you notice, aside from the Ichor, you are also able to notice peculiar tracks leading away from the camp. Upon further inspection, you see that they are a group of goblinoid tracks that are amongst snapped branches and disturbed foliage that seem to indicate a hunting party of goblins hot on another animal's trail. Go ahead and make me a nature check, and since you got a natural 20, make it with advantage.
18.
You notice another distinct set of tracks, that is this animal's tracks. These tracks are larger and more distinct than any goblin footprints or a deer or rabbit would ever make. You can tell that these, as you're looking at the paw prints, are paw prints, so the padding and toe marks of a direwolf. These frantic paw prints are left behind by Moosey-Moose's passage that seems to cling to the underbrush, creating a trail that reveals the absolute fear and terror in this direwolf's movements. Shrubby looks on in horror at you, Zell, as he is also inspecting this same trail of footprints, and he says, "They're hunting him."
Look, it seems like Moosey-Moose may be being chased by the goblins, and it seems like they're heading this way, and I'll motion towards where the footprints are leading. We should head that direction, but I do have a question for you first, Talroth. Do you have a memory of these animals? Is this different from how it should be?
I do not recall specifically, but in my visits to this village, I do recall animals of some sort being kept in these cages. I believe it is their storage for later food.
Alright, well, even if these particular animals aren't specific in your memory, I think it's pretty clear to see these cuts and the traces of Ichor here is not normal. Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page.
There are many things about this place that do not seem normal. You'll see Javi's been kind of silent for a while, because as they've been concerned about the animals, he's more looking at the goblins. They're still within eyesight, right?
Yes.
He's finding something peculiar about their armor.
Right.
So there's mismatched. Is Javi able to insight anything about the goblins' armor?
Absolutely. Go ahead and make me an investigation check with advantage. And take this point of inspiration.
Yes. 21.
With a 21 in investigation, Javi, these are suits of armor that you recall making for the bosses. You recall your bosses putting in an order for armor that seemed to be your size, and you recall your bosses were much bigger than you. It was strange that they wanted your size of armor. You assumed maybe, they were letting you out. They were giving this armor to
Javi.
Exactly. And then you never saw the armor again.
Are goblins and gnomes similar size?
Yeah, they're both small.
Javi will make that connection because he had always wondered, was it for him? Was he were they making these orders for him, his dimensions? He'll make that connection that they were outfitting. This memory, though it isn't his, I think he would be able to insight that his memory and Talroth's are connected, or his lifetime and Talroth's are connected.
Yes.
He created those sets
He created
of armor.
those sets of armor.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he remembers all the details and everything about them. Talroth, what else do you know about these goblins? I think I built their armor for the bosses. They had me make armor just like that.
Interesting. I don't know a large amount about the goblins. Their tribe was located close to the portal to the Shadowfell that we would frequently take to travel between the Shadowfell and the material plane. They feared us and our village and would pay tribute to us, but other than that, I had seldom interaction with them. I did meet a goblin at one point. Sveb, I believe his name was. He was the one who introduced me to the tribe and began such cordial interactions.
Will Javi recognize the name Sveb at all?
No. As it went with your bosses, they kept you literally and figuratively in the dark.
Javi will try to think back. Were the bosses humans?
Yes,
For sure.
for sure. You look at Zell and his pinkish complexion that is somewhat paler now that he is in the astral plane.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
No way to know yet.
And the pinkish tone of Zell's skin that you would know as a human matches the complexion of the bosses.
This is something interesting. I'm going to think on this.
Speaking of Sveb, he was a tracker and stuff like that. Does he seem to be among the goblins that are tracking Moosey-Moose that I can
Yes.
see? Okay.
With that insight of your character and having this character as part of your backstory, you would recognize that Sveb was indeed fitted with a specialty version of the armor. He was one of the best hunters of the goblin tribe and thus was given the best of the armor gifted by a supplier of some kind, and he has very distinct footprints compared to the rest of the goblins, and he is amongst this party.
I will point over to him and just say, "We follow that one. He will lead us to Moosey-Moose."
Let's get a move on.
Lead the way.
I'm Shrubby, by the way. Not shrubbery, but you you call me whatever you want.
My apologies. No.
What'd you say your
Shrubby.
name was?
Zelbarath Wilderton.
Zelbarath
You can call me
Wilderton.
Zel.
Zell, we can't let these goblins get to Moosey-Moose.
Yes.
If they find him, I don't even want to think about what they do to him. We need to think of a way to find him and even hide him from, well, I mean, the monster in the first place, but quickly
You're an
before...
expert tracker. You know exactly what needs to be done. I shall follow you, and I shall remain at a distance to indicate where my companions are, for though I know they cannot offer you moral support, they will be invaluable in combat.
And these companions are nice in your brain? Because they're not very nice to my brain right now.
One is very nice, one is trying to be nice, and the other is like very neutral but intending to be helpful.
I envy you.
What I would like to do, though, in case he is still making saving throws, I'd like to make my encouragements work as a help action.
Okay. Your bolstering words has kind of helped calm the voices in his head down, at least enough that he's able to abstain from these saving throws, at least for the moment. As your party starts following the footprints that Talroth points out of Sveb, the lead goblin tracker, you hear the distant sounds of goblin chatter growing louder and louder, indicating that the hunting party seems to be closing in on the direwolf Moosey-Moose's location. Everyone go ahead and make me history checks.
22.
7.
10.
8. Get wrecked.
With a 22, Javi, the undergrowth you notice becomes more entangled around a set of trees and offering potential hiding spots. As you recall from Chai's memory, the monster seemed to be hiding in a similar mess of tangled tree roots. What would you like to do?
Javi making that connection of that potential hiding spot. I'm assuming the roots have little cracks and crevices that are
Yes.
traversable. Okay. Javi is going to silently go into more of a stealth mode, kneel down. He's going to pop Finn out of his shoulder and put him down to the ground, and he's going to whisper to him, "Investigate. Down there, beneath the roots." And send Finn to go on a little spy mission to go see what he can find.
I will take the top off my lantern and let the will-wisp out and just say, "A light may be needed," and just send it down with...
Okay,
Okay.
Make me an Arcana check
Can
with
we just
advantage.
follow them the rest of the episode?
Yeah.
Just have like a little like...
It's just Finn and the wisp. 21.
Wow, okay, with a
Oh.
21, we've established that you are able to, you have a little tablet basically
I can
that you
give
can
simple
peer,
commands.
and you have a little tablet that you can basically peer through the eyes of Finn.
I can.
So you are looking at this tablet as Finn is crawling around, and he's learned from Javi, so he makes little
Little sounds. Yeah.
Yeah, as he's crawling through into this great unknown.
It sounds like Kronk in Emperor's New Groove as he's spy missioning to get rid of the llama body. But it's the high pitch.
The light flashes on something. Finn crawls past it and then turns, and you see through Finn's eyes, Javi, and whoever else is looking at Finn or at the tablet of
Us all
Finn.
huddled.
Yeah, looking into to the tablet of Finn. On your arcane tablet, Javi, amber eyes wide with terror. The forest, once alive with the sounds of nature, now in a silent distress. Moosey-Moose lay in the corner of a bramble of tree roots, huddled and trembling. Moosey-Moose now paralyzed with fear, his ears that are usually pointed straight up, pressed flat down against the back of his head. Shrubby's loyal companion, Moosey-Moose. You see that his mind is tangled, almost like the knots of these roots that bind him. The atmosphere is thick with tension as Moosey-Moose is waiting as he looks on at Finn in fear. Everyone go ahead and make me an investigation check again.
Ooh,
3.
22.
nice.
Heck yeah, dude.
19.
18.
Javi, Talroth, and Zelbarath, you hear the distant of goblins closing in on the scent and the footprints of Moosey-Moose, who is trapped in this nature-like cage in the middle of one of Talroth's soul memories. I believe that is where we're going to end our episode for the night.
Snap, have we done a full
I was
episode?
We've done a
so
full episode,
ready.
man.
I feel like
Next
we
part.
just started.
I know.
I was ready
I
to
had
jump into action.
Did everybody have a plan?
Yes.
Like, I had
Yeah.
such
I
a
had so
freaking
many
plan.
Write down
ideas.
your plans.
I'm gonna write it down.
Thank you so very much for joining us today in our episode. If you love this episode, go on over to patreon.com/knocked and check out our amazing tiers and consider supporting our podcast so we can continue to make mysterious content for people just like you. I am Cade, your host and Grin Reaper of this Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventure, and I am joined here by the spooky adventurers to my left.
Brooklyn playing Ty.
Alec playing Javi.
Mason playing Talroth.
And Danny playing Zelbarath Wilderton.
Thank you so much.
Wilderton.
Zelbarath Wilderton. Thank you so much for listening. We hope that you remember when life knocks you flat on your back. All you got to do is keep rolling, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your afterlife. Goodbye.